Hey everyone, and welcome back to Senior Care Insights. Today, we're diving into something I think you'll find really interesting.
Okay.
It's the unexpected connection between psychology and looking younger.
Interesting.
How some people just seem to radiate youthfulness,
Yeah.
no matter how old they actually are.
Right.
We're going to break down 7 key psychological traits
Okay.
that are often found in these, ageless individuals.
I like it.
And the science behind this is actually pretty fascinating.
It really is. What's so intriguing is that it goes beyond just appearances,
Right.
It's a deeper energy.
Exactly.
There's a certain vibrancy that you just can't get from, like, wrinkles or gray hair.
Totally. And we're going to explore some real aha moments today.
Yeah.
All backed by, research and, of course, real-life examples.
Awesome.
So get ready to kind of rethink what it means to age gracefully.
Love it. Let's kick things off with a trait that might seem obvious.
But it's actually really profound. An unbreakable spirit.
Okay.
We all know people who've gone through some incredibly tough times.
Mm-hmm.
But they somehow manage to keep that youthful spark.
Yeah, for sure. It's like they have this inner strength,
Right.
a resilience that just shines through.
Exactly.
But is it really just about being positive all the time?
Yeah.
Can you actually force yourself to be happy when things are rough?
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
It's not about denying or suppressing those difficult emotions.
Right.
It's more about how we process those challenges and then bounce back from them.
I see.
Research has actually shown that chronic stress,
Mm-hmm.
it releases cortisol,
Oh, okay.
and that's a hormone that can actually speed up aging.
Wow.
But people who have this unbreakable spirit,
Right.
they seem to have this incredible ability to manage that stress,
Okay.
to not let it consume them.
So it's not that they don't go through tough times.
That's
They
right.
just don't let those define them.
Precisely.
So it's less about faking a smile
But-
and more about finding healthy ways to deal with the curveballs that life throws at us.
Exactly. And those coping mechanisms can actually protect us from
Okay.
the damage that stress can do, both physically and mentally.
So they're literally protecting themselves from aging.
In a way, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think of this man I met a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his home in a fire,
Oh, wow.
and he was dealing with some serious health issues, but he still radiated this warmth and optimism.
That's incredible.
It wasn't that he was ignoring his struggles.
Right.
He was choosing to focus on what he could control,
Mm.
on finding purpose, even when everything felt chaotic.
It makes you wonder if our reactions to tough situations are actually affecting how we age, physically.
It really is a question worth thinking about.
Yeah.
Because if we learn to deal with those challenges with more grace and resilience, well, maybe we're unlocking the secret to staying young.
That's a powerful thought.
It is.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit and talk about another fascinating trait,
Sounds good.
embracing change.
Okay.
I've noticed that people who seem ageless often have this incredible adaptability, this willingness to kind of evolve and grow with the times.
It's like they're fearless, almost, when it comes to the unknown.
Right.
And there's a really interesting scientific basis for this.
Okay.
Studies show that resisting change,
Mm.
that actually increases stress.
Wow.
It can even speed up cognitive decline.
So being stuck in our ways could actually be aging us.
It could be, yeah. Adaptable people, on the other hand,
Right.
they stay mentally and physically flexible,
Mm-hmm.
and that helps them look and feel younger.
So it's more than just keeping up with trends then.
Right.
It's about keeping our minds and bodies agile,
Exactly.
open to new experiences.
It's like that saying, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that applies to more than just physical stuff.
Right.
Our brains need stimulation,
Mhm.
novelty, challenges to stay sharp.
Makes sense.
Think about kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly embracing change.
Right.
They're learning something new every single day.
That's true.
And that constant exploration and discovery is what keeps them so young, in a way.
It makes me think of my grandma.
Oh, yeah.
She's in her 80s,
Wow.
and she just started painting.
That's great.
She's never considered herself an artist or anything, but she decided to just, give it a try.
Good for her.
And now she's really flourishing.
That's fantastic.
It's like she's tapped into this well of creativity and energy that was always there.
Sometimes we just need that little push to discover something new about ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about challenging those beliefs that tell us we're too old to do something new.
Right. Like, I can't do that at my age.
Exactly.
The truth is, we never really stop being able to grow and evolve.
That's a great way to put it.
So instead of resisting change, we should really be looking for it.
Yeah.
Embracing it as a chance to learn, grow, and see the world in new ways.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's all about staying flexible, both mentally and physically, and being willing to step outside of our comfort zones and, engage with the world.
Love it. And speaking of engaging with the world, let's talk about another characteristic that seems to go hand in hand with that youthful energy. Endless curiosity.
Oh, I love that.
You know those people who just seem to have an unquenchable thirst for knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
They approach life with a sense of wonder and excitement.
Absolutely. They're always asking questions.
Yeah.
Always exploring new ideas, never losing that childlike sense of awe.
It's inspiring.
And this isn't just like an observation.
Right.
There's actual research that shows that a curious brain ages more slowly.
Oh, wow.
It's that continuous learning,
Mm-hmm.
the pursuit of new skills and knowledge
Right.
that keeps the mind active and engaged.
And that helps us physically, too.
Yeah, it could definitely have a positive impact on our physical health.
So our brains are like our bodies in that way.
Exactly.
If we let them get stagnant, they start to decline, right?
That's right. But if we keep them challenged, keep them engaged, they can stay sharp and vibrant for much longer.
Makes sense.
And it's not just about like intellectual stuff either.
Okay.
Curiosity can take all sorts of forms. You could be exploring new places, trying new foods, learning a new language, picking up a musical instrument.
Sure.
The key is to find things that light you up,
Yeah.
activities that make you feel truly alive.
So it's about staying curious about everything.
Yes.
About seeking out new experiences.
Right.
About never losing that desire to learn new things and make new discoveries.
It's about approaching life as one big adventure,
Exactly.
a constant chance to learn and grow.
I love that. And the best part is, anyone can cultivate curiosity, right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter how old we are or where we come from.
Right. It's a choice we can make every day. To stay engaged, to ask questions, to seek out new information and perspectives.
So it's about nurturing that sense of wonder, that childlike curiosity.
Yeah.
That's what makes life so rich and fulfilling.
It really is.
Okay, so now, for a trait that might surprise some people, it's expressing emotions freely.
Interesting.
We tend to think of aging as a purely physical process, but our emotions play a huge role in how we look and feel.
You really do.
I've noticed that people who seem to carry around a lot of emotional baggage, like they're bottling up their feelings all the time,
Right.
they often look older than they actually are.
Interesting.
It's like they're carrying this weight on their shoulders, and it shows in their expressions, their posture, their whole demeanor.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And there's actually a physiological explanation for that.
Okay.
When we suppress emotions, it creates tension in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Our muscles tighten up. Our breathing becomes shallow. And over time, all that can lead to wrinkles, frown lines, and just a generally aged appearance.
Wow, it's literally aging us.
In a way, yeah. So it's not just about looking happy all the time.
Right.
It's about allowing ourselves to experience all of our emotions, positive and negative.
And letting ourselves actually feel them.
Exactly.
Not just pushing them down and pretending they're not there.
Because when we give ourselves permission to feel and express our emotions authentically, it releases that tension in our bodies.
So we actually look and feel lighter.
Yes.
More relaxed and more youthful.
Precisely.
This is making me rethink all those things like keep a stiff upper lip
Mm-hmm.
or never let them see you sweat.
Right.
Maybe letting our emotions flow freely is actually healthier for us.
I think there's something to be said for that, for finding ways to express those emotions,
Right.
in a healthy way.
Like, think about when someone laughs genuinely. Their whole face lights up.
Exactly.
And on the flip side, when someone allows themselves to cry,
there's a release there, a softening.
yeah,
It can actually make them appear more youthful.
it's like letting those emotions flow through us
Right.
instead of trying to hold them back.
Exactly.
And finding healthy outlets for those emotions is key.
Okay.
That could be anything from therapy to journaling, maybe spending time in nature, doing something creative,
Right.
or even just having a good cry with someone you trust.
So it's not about ignoring our emotions or suppressing them.
No,
It's about finding the right ways to express them,
exactly.
to let them move through us and release all that pent-up tension.
And when we do that, we free ourselves to experience life more fully, more authentically.
And with more energy, more vitality.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's dive into a trait that's particularly important in today's world.
Okay.
Surrounding ourselves with positive energy.
That's a big one.
It really is. We are so influenced by our environments.
We really are.
And just like our physical environment can affect our health.
Our social environment has a huge impact on our well-being, even how we age.
I completely agree.
I don't know about you, but spending time with negative people is just draining.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's like their negativity rubs off on you.
It really is contagious.
It is.
It feeds on itself, creates this downward spiral of stress and, well, more negativity. And we've already talked about how chronic stress speeds up the aging process.
Right. But when we're around positive people, those who lift us up and inspire us and, just make us feel good,
Yes.
we create this upward spiral of positive energy that just nourishes our minds and bodies.
It's like choosing to eat healthy food instead of junk food.
I love that analogy.
We nourish our bodies with healthy food, with exercise. Why not nourish our minds and souls with positive relationships?
Exactly. We need to be picky about who we spend time with,
Absolutely.
Surround ourselves with people who actually feed our soul,
Right.
not those who deplete us.
It's all about being mindful of the company we keep
Right.
and making choices to prioritize those positive relationships.
But what about those people we can't avoid?
Oh,
Like difficult coworkers or family members.
Yeah, those are tough.
How do we manage those interactions in a way that protects our own energy?
Well, that's where boundaries come in.
Okay.
It's about learning to protect ourselves from those who drain us. And that doesn't mean cutting them out of our lives completely.
Right.
It could just mean limiting how much we're exposed to their negativity,
Okay.
setting limits on conversations, or finding ways to kind of steer the conversation toward more positive things.
So it's about being strategic.
Exactly.
Recognizing that some people are just more draining than others.
Right.
And finding ways to protect ourselves.
And it's also about actively seeking out positive connections.
Okay. Yeah.
Those people who leave you feeling energized and inspired.
So how do we do that?
Well, you could join a club, volunteer, take a class, or just make an effort to connect with the positive people you already know.
That's great advice.
Thanks.
Okay, now let's move on to a trait that's especially relevant as we get older.
Right.
Living with passion and purpose.
Oh, that's a good one.
It really is. It's about finding that spark, that something that gets you excited about life. Having goals, pursuing your passions, and feeling like your life has meaning.
It's about feeling like you're living a life that matters.
Exactly. And, I've noticed that people who seem to lack passion or purpose, they often look older than they are.
I've noticed that too.
There's a lack of vibrancy there. Like they're just going through the motions.
It almost seemed deflated,
Yeah, exactly.
And there's actually some science to back this up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Studies show that people who have a strong sense of purpose, they tend to live longer, healthier lives.
So it's not just about feeling good, it's good for us physically?
Exactly.
Wow.
And the good news is, finding our passion, finding our purpose, it's not some exclusive thing.
Yeah.
It's a journey that's available to anyone, no matter how old you are or where you come from.
So how do we start that journey?
It's about exploring what interests you, trying new things, discovering what truly excites you.
So it's about figuring out what makes you feel alive.
Exactly.
What gives you a reason to get up in the morning with a smile?
It doesn't have to be something huge,
Right.
It could be something as simple as volunteering in your community, learning a new skill, maybe picking up a hobby you used to love.
Right. It's about finding something that brings you joy and making time for it.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's talk about a trait that I think is incredibly powerful, especially as we get older.
Okay, what's that?
Letting go of the past.
Oh, it's a big one.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's about releasing the weight of grudges, regrets, all those past hurts that we hold on to.
Yeah, it's about choosing forgiveness for ourselves and others.
Right.
And freeing ourselves to live fully in this moment.
I've noticed that people who seem burdened by their past, they're always replaying those old hurts and grievances in their mind.
Right.
They often look older than their years.
It's like they're carrying a heavy load, and it shows.
Exactly.
It weighs down their expressions, their posture, their whole energy.
And there's actually physiological reason for that, right?
Right. Holding on to the past, especially negative experiences, creates so much stress.
Wow.
And that stress keeps us stuck in this cycle of negativity that's incredibly damaging to our health.
So it's not about forgetting what happened or condoning it.
Exactly.
It's about choosing to let go of that emotional grip that the past has on us?
It's about recognizing that we can't change what happened,
Right.
but we can control how it affects us today.
That's so powerful. But how do we actually do that?
It can be tough, I know.
Yeah.
Letting go of the past, especially when it involves pain or betrayal,
Mm-hmm.
that's really hard.
It is.
But it starts with recognizing that holding on to anger and resentment,
Mm-hmm.
it only hurts us. It's like that saying, drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
So step one is acknowledging that we're the ones who are actually suffering, not the person who hurt us.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then it's about making the choice to forgive.
And that's not for them, it's for us.
Precisely.
Wow.
Forgiveness doesn't mean saying what they did was okay.
Right.
It just means releasing the negative emotions that are weighing us down.
It's like setting ourselves free from the prison of the past.
That's a great way to put it.
So letting go of the past isn't just about feeling better emotionally.
No, it's not.
It's about actually creating a younger, more vibrant version of ourselves.
Exactly. And that's a gift you can give yourself at any age.
This has been so insightful.
It has been a great conversation.
I'm already seeing aging in a whole new light.
Me too.
I feel like we've just scratched the surface, though.
We really have.
There's so much more to uncover about the connection between our minds, our emotions, and how we age. Well, I'm definitely eager to dive deeper, but for now, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and discuss what really resonated with you and how you can actually start applying these insights to your own life.
It really is fascinating, right? How much our mental and emotional state can affect how we age.
I know. I'm kind of blown away by all this. It's like we've always thought aging was just this inevitable decline.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're talking about today, it suggests we have way more control than we think.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about genetics or what skincare we use. It's about having the right mindset.
Right.
And a lifestyle that supports our well-being on all levels.
So out of those 7 traits we talked about, which one really stuck with you?
That's a tough one. They all resonated with me in some way, but the one that really got me thinking is the idea of surrounding ourselves with positive energy. We often don't realize how much our social environment affects us,
Yeah, I agree.
And it's something we could all be more mindful of.
I totally agree. For me, it's spending time with people who are always complaining or focused on the negative.
Yeah.
It just drains me.
It's like their energy is contagious almost.
It totally is.
But then when you're around people who are optimistic and excited about life, it's like their positivity rubs off on you too.
It's a total energy boost.
It is.
It makes you think we should be as careful about who we spend our time with as we are about the food we eat or how much we exercise.
That's such a good analogy. We nourish our bodies with healthy things. Why not our minds too?
Exactly.
With positive connections.
Okay, but how do we put that into practice?
Right.
We can't just surround ourselves with happy people all the time.
Right. Life isn't always perfect.
Exactly.
But I think it starts with just paying attention.
Okay.
Notice how you feel after you spend time with certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Who leaves you feeling good, energized?
Right.
Who leaves you feeling drained and down?
So it's like taking inventory of our social life and seeing which relationships are adding something to our lives and which ones are actually taking away from it.
Exactly. And once you have that awareness, you can start making different choices.
Okay, so maybe spend less time with the people who bring you down and more time with the ones who lift you up.
Right.
But it's not always about cutting people out completely, right?
No, not at all.
Sometimes it's about setting boundaries.
Exactly.
Like knowing when to excuse yourself from a conversation if it's getting too negative.
Right.
Or maybe try to redirect it to something more positive.
It's about taking control of your own energy.
Yeah.
Recognizing that you have the right to protect yourself, even from people who might have good intentions.
What about those people who are tougher to avoid?
Oh, you mean like
family members or coworkers who are just difficult?
Yeah, those are tough situations. It's important to remember that you can't change how other people act,
All right.
But you can control your reactions to them. So try not to get sucked into their negativity.
Easier said than done sometimes.
I know, but try to stay neutral.
Okay.
Like you're deflecting their bad vibes instead of absorbing them.
Ooh, I like that, a negativity shield.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you don't have to get into every argument or debate either.
Right.
Sometimes it's best to just nod politely and let it go.
So what about seeking out those positive connections? Any advice on finding people who will actually add to our lives?
I think getting out of our comfort zones can help with that.
Okay.
Think about what you're interested in, what you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Are there groups or clubs or activities related to that?
Oh, I see.
Like maybe a book club, a hiking group, volunteer work, even a cooking class.
So put yourself out there, try new things.
Maximum.
Meet people who share your interests.
And even if it feels a little awkward at first, just remember, everyone else probably feels the same way.
Mm.
We all want to connect with people.
Right.
Sometimes it just takes a bit of courage to make it happen.
That's a good reminder that building a strong, positive social circle takes effort.
It does, but it's so worth it.
It really is. Okay, another trait that really stood out to me was the idea of embracing change.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's easy to get stuck in our ways, especially as we get older.
It is. We get comfortable with our routines, and anything new or different can feel scary.
Right, like we're too old to try new things.
Exactly.
But isn't that how we stagnate?
Mm-hmm.
If we're not learning and growing, don't we actually age faster? Mentally and physically.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Our brains need new things, challenges, to stay healthy. Think about kids. They're always embracing change, right?
Mm-hmm. They are.
They're constantly learning new things, exploring their world with such excitement and wonder.
It's part of what makes them so full of life.
It is.
They don't have that fear of the unknown yet.
Exactly. And as adults, I think we can learn a lot from that childlike curiosity and sense of adventure.
So how do we break out of that rut, especially if we've been doing the same things for years?
It starts with small steps. You don't have to change everything overnight.
Okay.
Start small. Take a different route to work. Try a new recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to a new kind of music.
Okay.
Read about something you've never explored before.
So it's about those little challenges, those little ways to expand our horizons.
Exactly.
Reminding ourselves that we are capable of more than we think.
And as you get more comfortable with those small changes, you can start making bigger ones.
Right.
Maybe learn a new language, take up a new hobby, travel somewhere new.
Mm-hmm.
You can even think about a career change.
It's about accepting that change is going to happen.
Right.
Resisting it only makes things harder.
It does.
Yeah.
Embracing change, that's what keeps us feeling young and alive.
And engaged with the world.
Yes. And the cool thing is, the more we embrace change, the easier it gets.
Oh, interesting.
It's like working out a muscle.
So we're building up our adaptability muscle.
Exactly. The more we use it, the stronger it gets.
So the more we embrace change, the more comfortable we are with it, and then we're more likely to try new things, keep growing.
Exactly.
I love that. It's a positive feedback loop.
It is. And that constant growth is what keeps us young at heart, no matter what our age is.
Another trait that really resonated with me was the idea of cultivating endless curiosity.
Oh, yes.
I've always considered myself a curious person, but as I get older, it's easy to kind of get complacent.
It is, isn't it?
Stop asking questions and seeking out new knowledge.
Life gets busy. You know, we fall into routines. We lose sight of that natural desire to learn and discover.
But it's still there, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the great thing is, we can strengthen that curiosity muscle.
How do we do that?
It's about making an effort to be more present in our lives,
Okay.
to pay attention to the world around us,
Right.
to be curious about the things we don't understand.
So approach life like a beginner. See things with fresh eyes.
Exactly.
Never lose that sense of wonder and awe.
And it doesn't have to be about big, complex things.
Right.
It could be as simple as noticing the patterns on a leaf,
Mm-hmm.
wondering how a bird got its name, looking up the history of your neighborhood.
It's about finding the amazing in the everyday.
Exactly.
Realizing there's always something new to learn, no matter how much we think we already know.
And being curious, it has so many benefits beyond just learning new things.
Oh, yeah.
It keeps our minds sharp. It boosts creativity. It helps us build stronger relationships.
Wow.
And it gives us that feeling of purpose and fulfillment that we were just talking about.
It's like a mental and emotional workout that keeps us feeling younger and more connected to everything around us.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And something anyone can do, no matter how old you are or where you come from.
It all comes back to that willingness to be open, ask questions, and embrace the unknown.
Exactly.
Okay, another trait that really hit home for me was the idea of expressing emotions freely. I think we're often taught to keep our emotions bottled up, to be strong and not show weakness.
Yeah, we're told to put on a brave face and keep it together.
But isn't that really unhealthy?
It is, both physically and emotionally.
It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes so much effort, and eventually it's just going to pop back up.
That's such a good analogy. Emotions are energy, and that energy needs to flow to be expressed.
Right.
If we don't, it builds up inside and creates tension, stress, even physical problems.
So it's not about being overly emotional or anything. It's about finding healthy ways to express how we feel, both the good and the bad.
Exactly. It's about allowing ourselves to feel the full range of human emotions, to laugh, to cry, to be angry, to be joyful, to feel sadness, fear, excitement, all of it.
But what if you grew up in a family where showing your emotions wasn't okay? How do you unlearn those patterns? How do you give yourself permission to feel?
I think that's where self-compassion comes in.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that we're all human, we all have emotions, and it's okay to feel them.
So instead of beating ourselves up for feeling sad or scared or angry,
Right.
we can just acknowledge those feelings with kindness.
Exactly. And then we can find healthy ways to express them.
Like what?
It could be anything from talking to a therapist to writing in a journal, spending time in nature, doing something creative, or just crying with a good friend.
It's about finding what works for you, right?
Ah.
What helps you let go of that pent-up emotional energy in a safe and supportive way.
And the cool thing is, the more we allow ourselves to feel our emotions, the less intense they become.
Oh,
They
interesting.
don't have that same power over us because we're not afraid of them anymore.
So it's about building a healthier relationship with our emotions, accepting them as a natural part of who we are,
Exactly.
and finding ways to express them that feel authentic and empowering.
And as we get more comfortable with our own emotions, we get more comfortable with other people's emotions too.
Well, that makes sense.
We become more empathetic, more compassionate, more understanding, and that strengthens our relationships and just makes us feel better overall.
It's like a ripple effect.
It is.
The more we allow ourselves to feel, the more we can connect with others, and the more we can contribute to a more compassionate and understanding world.
Beautifully said.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about living with passion and purpose.
Okay.
This is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, especially as they get older.
I think you're right.
You know, I've observed that people who don't seem to have a passion, a purpose, they often look older than they are.
I've noticed that too.
It's like there's this lack of spark, you know, like they're just going through the motions.
Like they've lost their zest for life.
Exactly.
And I think when that happens, when we lose our sense of purpose, we lose touch with our inner drive, our passions, our dreams, and that can show up in our physical appearance.
So it's not just about feeling good, it's actually about tapping into a source of energy that can make us look and feel younger.
Exactly. When we have something we're passionate about, when our life has meaning, our eyes light up, we have more energy, we radiate enthusiasm.
It's contagious.
It is, and it's so youthful.
It's like reconnecting with our inner child, that sense of wonder and excitement that makes life so much more vibrant.
And the best part is, finding our passion doesn't have to be some huge, complicated thing. It could be as simple as picking up an old hobby we loved, volunteering for something we care about, or just spending more time doing things that give us joy.
So it's about making sure that we're spending our time and energy on things that are meaningful to us, things that make us feel fulfilled.
Exactly. And it's never too late to start.
It really isn't.
No matter where we are in life, we can always rediscover our passions, explore new things, and create a life that feels meaningful.
It's about remembering that we're not here to just exist. We're here to thrive, to contribute, to leave our mark on the world.
To make a difference.
Exactly. And speaking of making a difference, let's talk about another powerful trait, especially as we age. Letting go of the past.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing how much the past can weigh us down.
It really is.
I've noticed people who are stuck dwelling on old hurts and regrets and mistakes, they often seem older than they are.
It's like they're carrying this heavy burden that drains their energy and steals their youthfulness.
Exactly.
It's as if they're stuck in a time warp, replaying those negative experiences over and over.
They can't seem to let go and be present in this moment.
And that's so sad, because this moment is all we really have.
Right.
The past is gone, the future is uncertain. All we can control is how we choose to experience right now.
I love that.
And when we choose to dwell on the past, especially the negative parts, it's like we're poisoning ourselves.
Wow.
A bitterness and resentment, it robs us of so much joy, so much peace, so much vitality.
But letting go of the past, especially when it's painful, it's so hard. How do we actually do that? How do we let go of those old wounds and move on?
It is a process.
Yeah.
It takes time and effort, and it takes a lot of kindness toward ourselves.
Yeah.
I think the first step is recognizing that when we hold on to anger and resentment, we're the ones who suffer.
So we're not hurting the person who wronged us.
No.
We're hurting ourselves.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like that saying, drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
So step one is realizing that we're the ones who are actually hurting.
Right.
Okay.
And then we can make the choice to forgive.
And that forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's for us.
Exactly.
Wow.
Forgiving someone doesn't mean saying what they did was okay.
Right.
It means letting go of those negative feelings that are weighing us down.
It's about freeing ourselves from that pain.
Yes.
So letting go of the past isn't just about feeling better emotionally, it's about creating a more youthful, vibrant version of ourselves.
It really is.
This has been such an inspiring conversation.
It is.
I'm already starting to look at aging in a whole new way.
Me too.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface, though.
We have.
There's so much more to explore about the mind-body connection and how it affects aging.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time to wrap up this incredible deep dive.
It's really amazing how much we've covered today. It seems like all these traits point to one big idea.
What's that?
Aging isn't just about our bodies,
Right.
It's tied to how we think and feel, too.
I'm totally with you there. We get so caught up in the wrinkles and gray hair, but real youthfulness, it comes from within.
Exactly.
It's about taking care of our minds and hearts just as much as our physical health.
And when we do that, when we nourish ourselves on all those levels,
Yeah.
it affects everything else in our lives.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some of the key takeaways for our listeners?
Okay, let's see.
What can they start doing today to cultivate that ageless energy?
Well, I think the most important thing is having a growth mindset.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means that no matter how old we are, we have to be open to learning, to changing, to challenging ourselves.
So saying yes to new experiences, even if they're a little scary.
Exactly.
And we've got to keep that curiosity alive.
Yes.
Ask questions, explore the world, be excited about learning.
Just like when we were kids.
I love that.
Remember how curious we were about everything back then? We have to tap back into that.
Absolutely. Okay, what else?
Another big one is connection, social connection. Being around positive people who support us and inspire us.
Yeah.
That's huge,
It's not just about how many friends we have.
right? It's about the quality of those relationships.
The people who really lift us up and make us feel good.
Exactly.
So we need to choose our inner circle wisely
We do.
and make time for those people who really nourish us.
And I want to emphasize, it's never too late to start cultivating these qualities.
That's so important.
It doesn't matter if you're in your 30s, your 50s, your 70s.
All right.
You always have the power to make choices that are good for you, that make you happy, that help you live longer.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
And there's no one right way to do it.
Nope.
The important thing is to be kind to ourselves, celebrate what we're doing well, and just keep moving forward.
It's not about being perfect. It's about making those little efforts, those consistent choices that make a big difference over time.
So let's all make a commitment to focus on the things that make us feel alive.
Yes.
Let's nurture our curiosity, be open about our emotions, and surround ourselves with love and positivity.
Because true youthfulness isn't about trying to look younger.
It's about feeling younger, more vibrant, more connected to the world.
Beautifully said.
It's about aging gracefully, with curiosity and excitement.
Enjoy.
Yes, and joy. This has been such an inspiring deep dive.
It has.
I feel energized, ready to embrace whatever's next with a renewed sense of purpose.
Me too. And I hope our listeners feel the same way. Remember, aging is a privilege,
It really is.
and we have the power to make it a beautiful and fulfilling experience.
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. We hope you've gained some great insights and are feeling inspired to embrace your own ageless energy. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep shining bright.